join us here tonight. Let us invite TJ Reissner and Claire Bochenek of the Zenith Players. And while we're waiting to join us, again, anyone who's out there who's still with us tonight, send us your feedback. If you like something you saw, hello, Claire and TJ.
Hello.
How are you guys? That's a very decorative background you have there. It's very exciting.
We are at the theater, so we're kind of trying to find without being on the stage where the good lighting is. So we're kind of like scrunched on a throne here.
Okay, all right. So for those that don't know, Claire and TJ, you guys are the two main players behind the Zenith Players, and you've been doing just a ton of content in the past year. I think in the last time we spoke, you were at that time you were doing at least one Zoom reading a week, and and sometimes it was like two or three, a week. So you did just a ton of content in the past year and a half. And now you're just finishing up your tech rehearsals. You're getting ready for a main stage production of Bernhard Hamlet.
Yes, it's our first live stage production in 2 years. Since September 2019 was our last one. But like you said, we've been doing a whole lot of Zoom readings, like everybody.
Well, yeah. Everyone moved into the Zoom space because that was in some ways, the next best thing to being on stage, and it was a format, even though it wasn't really meant for theatrical presentations, it was the closest thing you can approximate to having so many different people represented and being able to speak simultaneously. But I watched a bunch of your Zoom meetings, and I thought you guys did a really admirable job of organizing them and having a pretty decent set of actors put out the text.
Thank you. We're really proud of the group that we had kind of collected along the way of just international Shakespeare actors, really, who would message us from Denmark or Australia. We had a few from Australia, and really all over the world that we were getting. And we were just so happy that during a time when everything was so chaotic that we could just settle down once a week and just have some fun with the play.
Now, if I recall correctly from our previous conversations, Claire, you were a big presenter of theater on stage before all this happened, and it was a big departure for you to head into this Zoom world. So it must be very exciting to be back on the boards and getting a real life production up and running again.
It is. It's really fascinating to be getting ready to perform in front of a live audience. It's a lot of especially with Shakespeare, when you project, when you use your voice, you use it in a very specific way that we tend to not do when we're on a Zoom call, when we're doing Zoom plays. So in a way, it felt like a workout where you're just really getting back in shape to really get up there. And
yeah, you're exercising muscles that you trained for so many years, and then you had to just kind of let them kind of sit there and get forgotten about. So you have to train those muscles again.
mm-hmm.
And in terms of going from the Zoom environment back into the stage setting, did you have to go through a whole series of COVID precautions?
We did. Everybody in our cast and our crew is fully vaccinated. We made sure to check on that, and then the theater that we perform at has a very strict mask policy. So regardless of vaccination status, everybody must be masked during the performance. And we've also reduced our seating capacity so that way we can socially distance people in the space.
Okay, yeah, that's still a concern, after all these months of COVID and all the things that have happened and the vaccinations and everything that's happened since then. We still are in that world where you have to have reduced capacity and you have to have distance between seats. So at this point, what size house are you able to have?
Currently, I believe we are looking at 70 seats at reduced capacity.
So maybe down from like 125 or something like that, down to 75, 75.
I believe we were at close to 150, and now we're at half capacity. So we're still being very careful with it.
Okay. All right. Okay. So this is Bernhard Hamlet, and tell us, this is a recent play, but it's about a series of events that happened not so recently. Why don't you give us the quick thumbnail summary of what the play is all about?
So in 1897, Sarah Bernhardt, at the time most famous human being on the planet, maybe other than the Pope, decided she was going to play Hamlet. She's actually the second woman to play Hamlet, but nobody knows who the first one was because she was not absurdly famous. So she's generally called the first woman to play Hamlet. And the play is about the opinions of others that kind of affect that.
Some of the biases against having a woman play Hamlet, and some of the challenges of the hurdles you have to jump over to actually make such a production happen, even if you're the most famous woman in the world.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. All right. And how big is the cast of this show?
I think we are at 12.
12. Okay. I remember this was on Broadway a couple of years ago, and it made a big splash at that time. I don't know that I've heard of any other regional production of it happening around town. I think this might be the first that I've heard of, at least.
Around here, no. There was one in Chicago, and one somewhere else. But...
Well, you guys are in the outer boroughs of you're in the outer borough of New York called New Jersey, right? So it's a hop, skip, and a jump from.
There. We're in exotic New Jersey.
In exotic New Jersey.
We're about a 40-minute drive out of Manhattan.
Okay. All right. Not so far. So from from the environment that you've been in for the past year and a half of the Zoom meetings and everything like that, how is it going back, not just to the physical act of putting on a show, exercising the muscles of projecting all that, but also to some of the things that go with it. You're not just performing in the show, you're producing the show. So assembling the audience, getting out the invitations to everyone who's going to come and see the show. How it's like an 8-show run or something like that? Five show run.
Yeah, it's a lot more than just slapping a poster on Facebook every week, which is what we had been doing for the Zoom readings. But we kind of got back in the groove pretty quickly.
We're kind of all hands on deck. So we are the ones running around doing the publicity photos and things like that, and just trying to really get it moving and utilize social media to the best we can to kind of just get the word out that we are back, we are in person, and things like that. We really grew such an international community that we do have friends that are in other countries that are like, I wish that I could be there to see it. And that's the bittersweet moments, because we do wish that they would be able to see this play, but you can't stream it because the rights and things like that. And obviously, if I put myself in Teresa Rebeck's shoes, I wouldn't want somebody streaming my play internationally, so that way it can't organically be spread. So we understand that, but it's tricky, but it's also very nice to be back to publicity as we had once done previously. Right.
So it's not a new thing for you. It's something you've done before, but as you just kind of had to dust off those skills and get back to it. Okay. All right. And if people want to catch this production, where can they go to get tickets?
At paxamicus.com. It's PAXAMICUS.com is the theater's website. They can also go to zenithplayers.com. That's our website, and all those links will get them where they need to go.
Okay, and after this production, are you going to be continuing with the Zoom readings, or is that of a previous era now?
No, we're definitely going back to them. Probably not 1 or 2 a week. It's going to be a little less, a little less prolific. But we were in the middle of a series of the Titanic disaster hearings, so we'll probably get back to that. And
then we still have our Wheel of Shakespeare, where we will occasionally take one of the Shakespeare comedies and we will put a random theme on a wheel. We'll put a whole bunch of themes on a wheel, and then it spins, and then it automatically also spins and assigns the casting as well. So we like to do those once in a while too. Just
I've caught a little bit of those, and those are very entertaining, I have to say. And you do those with our mutual friend Dan Kostelik of Shakespeare
Yes.
Proofs, who's always just a barrel of laughs.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, I wish you all the best with the production. I hope you have beyond capacity of what you're allowed to have in the theaters and raucous audiences. If people want to catch a show, zenithplayers.com.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And also put the link for the Zenith Players in the post-show wrap-up of all the people who were part of this program. Thank you, Claire and TJ. All the best. Good luck with the show.
Thanks for having us, Rodney.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Okay, so that was Claire Bochenek and TJ Reissner of the Zenith Players, and they are just about a week away from their live theatrical presentation of Bernhard Hamlet. So for all of you who are still with us or have been with us throughout the program here